Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you will save you a decade of debt and 5 years of wasted time. Right now, there are 7 million students sitting in lecture halls paying $60,000 a year to learn information that's freely available, better explained, and more up to date on platforms they already have access to. The university system isn't collapsing because it's broken, it's collapsing because something better already exists. And the people charging you $120,000 for a business degree are desperately hoping you never figure that out. The tools I'm about to show you aren't hidden. They're not underground. They're not even controversial. They're just sitting there, waiting, built by the largest information company on Earth, and almost nobody knows how to weaponize them correctly. This isn't about taking a free course and feeling good about yourself. This is about replacing the entire educational pipeline with something faster, sharper, and infinitely more dangerous to the gatekeepers who've been selling you overpriced certifications for the last 100 years. Let's start with the most obvious one that everyone ignores: Google Scholar. You think research is locked behind university paywalls, and you're partially right. But here's what they don't tell you. 90% of the academic papers you need are freely accessible if you know where to look. And Google Scholar is the skeleton key. Every university course in biology, economics, engineering, psychology, they're all built on the same foundation of peer-reviewed research papers. The textbook they're charging you $300 for, it's just a summarized version of 50 research papers that are freely available. You type in your topic, filter by year to get the most recent findings, and you're reading the same primary sources that Harvard professors assign to their graduate students. But here's the trick nobody explains. When you find a paper that's paywalled, you copy the exact title, add the author's name, and search for it with the word PDF. Researchers often upload their own work to personal websites, university repositories, or ResearchGate. The information wants to be free, and the people who created it usually agree. Within 10 minutes, you've built a reading list that would cost $5,000 in textbooks, and you're accessing the actual source material instead of someone's watered-down interpretation. This is how you learn like a PhD candidate without paying for the credential. Now let's talk about Google Colab, and this is where it gets genuinely unfair. Computer science degrees cost $40,000 a year, and half of that tuition is paying for access to expensive computing infrastructure. You need powerful machines to run data analysis, train machine learning models, or process large data sets. Universities charge you for lab access, software licenses, and hardware that's already outdated by the time you use it. Google Colab gives you all of that for free. You get a cloud-based Jupyter Notebook environment with free GPU and TPU access, which means you can train neural networks, process massive datasets, and run complex simulations without owning a $1,000 computer. Every major data science bootcamp that charges $15,000 is teaching you to use the exact same tools you can access right now. Python, TensorFlow, PyTorch, Pandas, NumPy, every library is pre-installed. You want to learn machine learning? Open Colab, follow a free tutorial from Fast.ai or Google's own crash course, and start building actual projects. The difference between you and someone with a computer science degree isn't knowledge, it's confidence and a piece of paper. Colab eliminates the infrastructure excuse. You can't say you don't have access to the tools anymore. The playground is open and it's running on Google servers. Here's where it gets psychological. Google Skillshop is the certification platform nobody talks about because it doesn't have the brand recognition of a university. But it has something better: employer recognition. You can get certified in Google Ads, Google Analytics, Google Cloud, and every certification is free and recognized by actual hiring managers who need people with these specific skills. A marketing degree costs $60,000 over 4 years and teaches you theory. Google Skillshop teaches you how to run a campaign that generates real revenue, and you can complete the certification in 2 weeks. The brutal truth is that employers don't care about your marketing theory. They care if you can prove you've run a successful Google Ads campaign. The certification isn't just a learning tool, it's a signal. It says, I know how to use the tools that every modern business depends on. That signal is worth more than a degree in a world where companies are hiring based on demonstrable skill rather than institutional credibility. You take the courses, pass the exams, and add the certifications to your LinkedIn. You've just bypassed 4 years of lectures and walks out with something an employer can immediately verify and use. Now we go deeper. Google Arts and Culture isn't just a gallery you scroll through when you're bored. It's a replacement for every art history, cultural studies, and humanities course that universities charge $10,000 per semester to teach. You want to study Renaissance art? The platform has gigapixel images of paintings where you can zoom in and see individual brushstrokes that you'd never catch in a textbook. You want to understand historical context? It's built into every exhibit with primary sources, timelines, and expert commentary. Universities sell you the experience of walking through a museum with a professor, but Google Arts and Culture gives you the museum, the professor's lecture notes, and access to collections from over 2,000 museums worldwide. The Louvre, the Met, the British Museum, they're all digitized. You're not just learning art history, you're developing visual literacy, cultural context, and critical thinking skills that humanities degrees claim to provide. The difference is, you're doing it at your own pace, for free, with better visual access than any student sitting in a lecture hall looking at slides. Let's talk about Google Trends and Google Data Studio, because this is where you replace an entire economics and business analytics degree. Every business school charges you $30,000 a year to teach you how to analyze markets, understand consumer behavior, and make data-driven decisions. Google Trends shows you in real time what people are searching for, where they're searching, and how demand shifts over time. You want to understand market research? Type in a product category and watch the search volume fluctuate by season, geography, and breaking news events. You're seeing consumer behavior as it happens, not as it's described in a textbook from 2 years ago. Pair that with Google Data Studio, and now you can visualize that data, build dashboards, and present insights exactly the way a business analyst would in a corporate boardroom. You connect it to Google Analytics, pull in website traffic data, conversion rates, and user demographics, and suddenly you're doing the exact work that MBA programs claim they're training you for. The best part? You're working with live data. You're not analyzing fictional case studies. You're building real skills with real tools that companies actually use, and you can screenshot your dashboards and add them to a portfolio that proves you know what you're doing.
Google Cloud Platform is where this gets nuclear. Cloud engineering certifications from universities or boot camps cost anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000. Google gives you $300 in free credits when you sign up, and that's enough to learn every fundamental skill: how to deploy applications, manage databases, set up virtual machines, configure networking, and handle cloud storage. The Google Cloud Skills Boost platform has structured learning paths with hands-on labs where you're actually building infrastructure in a live cloud environment. You're not watching videos about how servers work. You're spinning up servers, breaking them, fixing them, and understanding exactly how modern internet infrastructure operates. Every tech company on Earth is moving to cloud infrastructure, and the people who know how to manage it are getting job offers at 6 figures straight out of high school, if they can prove their skills. A cloud architect certification from Google is free to study for and recognized globally. You pass the exam, and you've just skipped a 4-year degree in a field that didn't even exist 20 years ago. And finally, YouTube itself, paired with YouTube Studio Analytics. Film schools charge $50,000 a year to teach you video production, storytelling, and audience engagement. YouTube gives you the platform, the analytics, and the global distribution for free. You want to learn cinematography? Thousands of professional filmmakers have uploaded free tutorials breaking down lighting, composition, and editing. You want to understand storytelling structure? Film analysis channels dissect every scene of your favorite movies. But here's the real education. YouTube Studio teaches you something no film school can. It shows you in real time what your audience responds to. You upload a video, and within hours you see watch time, audience retention graphs, click-through rates, and demographic breakdowns. You learn faster than any classroom could teach you because you're getting immediate feedback from real viewers. You iterate, improve, and adapt based on data, not theory. The best filmmakers and content creators working today didn't go to film school. They uploaded 100 videos, studied their analytics, and learned what actually works. That's a better education than any lecture hall can provide, and it's completely free if you're willing to do the work. Here's the uncomfortable truth they don't want you to accept. The universities aren't stupid. They know these tools exist. They know their courses are teaching outdated information at inflated prices. But they're selling you something more valuable than knowledge. They're selling you a credential, a network, and the social proof that you're serious. And for a long time, that was worth the price. But the world shifted. Employers started hiring based on portfolios, GitHub repositories, live projects, and demonstrable skills. The credential still matters in law, medicine, and a few protected fields, but in tech, marketing, data science, creative work, the gatekeepers are dying, and they know it. The tools I just showed you aren't a replacement for a university education in the traditional sense. They're a replacement for the industrial model of education that treated learning like factory production. You show up, sit in rows, absorb standardized information, take a test, get a certificate. That model is obsolete. The new model is self-directed, project-based, and publicly verifiable. You learn what you need, when you need it, you build something real, and you show the world what you're capable of. The people who figured this out early will have a 10-year head start on everyone else still waiting for permission to learn. The cage door is open. Most people just haven't noticed yet. So here's what you do next. You don't need permission. You don't need to wait until you can afford tuition. You open these tools right now, today, and you start building. Pick one skill, one certification, one project. Spend the next 30 days proving to yourself that you can learn faster and cheaper than the system ever allowed. And when someone asks you where you went to school, you look them in the eye and say, I didn't. I built this instead. Then you show them your portfolio, your certifications, your life projects, and you watch their face change when they realize the game is already over. The old model is dying. The people who move first win. If this video just saved you $100,000 in 4 years of your life, hit that subscribe button because I'm going to keep showing you exactly how to dismantle every overpriced system that's been holding you back. Drop a comment and tell me which Google tool you're starting with today. Let's build something they can't ignore. I'll see you in the next one.